Hello and welcome to Only Stupid Answers. My name is Sam Basher.
And I am DJ Wooldridge.
And today we're talking about Titans Season 2, Episode 6, Connor. Connor Kent escapes from Cadmus Labs and emerges into the world for the first time as a free agent. With Krypto in tow, Connor's search for the truth about his past leads him to Lionel Luthor, guest star Peter MacNeil, which I recognize him a little bit.
Yeah, same.
Lex Luthor's father and Cadmus geneticist Eve Watson. Eve informs Connor of his true heritage and sends him on a path of self-discovery, examining his own identity and inherent impulses. In a moment of question, Connor chooses to act heroically and finds himself face-to-face with the Titans. That's every nook and cranny.
There it is. That's the episode. So I was talking to Sam about this prior to us recording, and big fan of all of everything that happened in this episode. Obviously, I'm a big Superman fan, so I'm a little bit biased, but I like the take on, he's just a 10-year-old brain in a grown Superboy's body. I liked Eve Watson a lot. I like their dynamic a lot.
So is she from the comics? Probably.
I meant to look, and I didn't before, but I feel like maybe.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think the Doctor is also familiar as well, but we get Mercy Graves, which is fun.
We do get Mercy Graves. We do get Lionel Luthor, which is cool.
Could you imagine if they got Lionel Luthor from Smallville back just to play that role?
Blow my mind. Hey, Michael Rosenbaum's not coming out from Christ on Infinite Earths, maybe.
Yeah, this guy.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of the eidetic memory. It's just kind of dumb comic book gobbledygook.
But it's
hey,
fun.
It's fun, and I like the idea that, no, he is intelligent. He just has zero emotional intelligence. So everything he's experiencing, they did a really good job illustrating that, like, he is experiencing the world for the first time. An adult human being hasn't, and it's not like he was chained up in a basement. He just has never been outside. Yeah. He has the strength of Superman, the intelligence of Lex Luthor, and he has zero way of knowing how to cope with the world.
Terrifying. And I like that they emphasize, because usually with Superboy, it's like, okay, so he's young Superman, but he's got a connection to Lex Luthor, so This one is like, no, he is half Lex Luthor. Like, it really, more than I've ever seen before, really emphasized that aspect of him, like when he knows how nuclear reaction works and all that stuff, his anger issues. It also introduced a really interesting idea of Lex Luthor that I think would be interesting if we explored it more in the comics or whatever. What if Lex didn't particularly hate Superman? He was just introduced. He's a scientist. He's introduced to a guy that can't be killed. And he's like, but what if you could, though? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, well, but there's got to be a way. You know what I mean? And that's it. It's no animosity. It's just like, and I'm not saying that's this show's take on it, but when she talked about scientists just doing something just to see if they could do it, it's like, that would be an interesting take on Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm. By the end of it, they throw it away, though. They're like, there are bad experiments.
Oh, there are bad experiments.
And this is one.
And I like when he saves the woman from the purse snatcher, and because he doesn't know, he's like, oh, then can I have the money?
Yeah.
That's great. And of course, the sequence it's funny after having like the fight with Deathstroke where you're like, oh, power is challenging. And then a sequence like this in the farmhouse, which is really cool when he punches the people through the wall.
Super cool.
Really
and
cool.
Using the breath is cool.
Yeah.
The laser vision's cool.
Krypto's amazing.
Krypto actually got a cool moment. He flipped the rocket around, and that's all you needed.
Straight murdered a guy, but hey, you know what? He's a dog. He doesn't know.
I really hope one of these characters learns how to fly. Like Superboy,
right.
Krypto's supposed to fly.
Yep.
He's not depowered and half whatever. Mm-hmm. And man, we'll get to this quick. Krypto's like out of the show immediately.
Yeah.
Like he's not dead, but like he's got a kryptonite collar on, and we're getting him off screen.
Yep.
Fat. Now Connor has a clear motivation after he puts his chest back together after getting shot out from the back.
And I also really like, so he saves Jason, and so Jason's interaction with him is the nicest we've seen Jason forever because he just saved his life. Mm-hmm. And it's this...
And the sequence is cool. When he falls backwards and they have to like get up from the car. You've seen it before. I like how it was captured 100%, in the show.
But I like the idea that pissy Jason might develop a friendship with Connor. That's a great dynamic. It's a interesting take on with the way these shows work now. We will 100% get like a Super Sons Jonathan and Damian at some point in something. But in the meantime, it's like this is kind of like a proto version of that, which I think is really cool.
Mm-hmm. That being Jason looking up to both Batman, but also in a larger sense, Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
And now Connor having to live up to one of his dads. And also I like just with since there's more LGBTQ plus inclusivity across the board when it comes to entertainment, they don't do it with Connor, and I don't think it's appropriate because one person's DNA is stolen and he's meant to kind of be a weapon. But I like the idea of like, oh yeah, he does have two dads.
Yeah.
I've never heard it addressed that way. It's that
same.
It's always I think in Young Justice, he refers to Connor as his brother, Superman does,
Yeah.
and Lex refers to him as his son.
Yeah.
So, like, it's always like, oh, he's just like a thing
Yeah.
who is related to these people, but he's his own agent. But no, him actually having two dads, I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I like Connor in Young Justice, but I think this take of the kind of juvenile brain is really, especially in the more aggressive Titans universe. I think I'm really excited to see this Superboy interact with this team of Titans.
And also, you have a kind of a window. You have a window open now for like Bizarro, if you wanted to,
100%.
one of those clones.
Yeah.
You pointed out before we started recording that he like didn't murder any of those scientists in the beginning, even though there's like blood everywhere.
Yeah.
But he 100% murdered all those mercenaries, which I think there's wiggle room when it comes to like media like this, where it's like, okay, if they're like military personnel or like they're hired guns, you feel more okay, or maybe the show's trying to make a distinction,
trying to kill him,
and the old man, so he is just reacting impulsively.
Yeah.
But also, he got up and attacked all those scientists because Krypto started crying, and so
it was weird because it definitely. I feel like the tag at the end of last season was very much in tempo with last season because it was like a horror movie. There's blood and everything, and those guys were dead. Mm-hmm. But now we're in the new Titans, so they were just critically injured.
Yeah, and like our actor who plays Superboy, Connor Kent, does a great job.
100%.
And I like that. Why did he pick up that shirt? It's like because he inherently kind of wants to get it. And I'm like, cool. Also, that is, I kind of want to see a full costume of that. I know New 52 did a black costume with the red on it.
Yeah.
And it looked like a mess, like a lot of the New 52. But I'm a big fan of that color scheme. I want to see him in a full suit that looks like that because I think it looks really cool.
Or maybe like distress the shirt. The shirt looks a little too clean cut for me.
Like you got it from a Six Flags.
Yeah.
Which he basically did.
Yeah. Distressed a little bit. I don't know. But I was a little bit worried because like, I don't know. You're worried. I was worried. And I was really pleasantly surprised. I think the best things with the show is like, again, with Deathstroke. You know they're nailing Deathstroke because if you told me there was a Deathstroke show, I would watch that show. If you told me it was just Superboy and Eve Watson going across America and him figuring out with Krypto and him figuring out what's my deal, I would watch that show.
Agreed. I would too. I like this. Also, they did a good job where I almost didn't notice that they just nerfed him really quick by shooting him in the chest because now you can get a few episodes of him recovering.
Yep.
Maybe it's only half an episode because he's got Superman's dumb writing stuff where he heals really fast.
Exactly. It's a good excuse to get him back to the tower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To get him back to but I mean specifically like you get a full episode of the length of his power now and Krypto.
Yeah.
Now you take away Krypto and you nerf him for a second. Inhumans, you did the same thing. What Medusa, who has moving hair, what do you do in the first episode? You shave it. So she never ever gets to do her thing again.
Yeah, Karnak can plan every move ahead, but he got conked on the head.
Oh, sorry, we're filling you in on what happened in Inhumans. If you'd like us, we could do a rewatch.
No.
We have no say in this. If you guys want it, we will do it.
No.
We will do it. I watched all of it. He didn't.
I failed.
16 episodes, 13 episodes.
Why did you watch all of it?
Because I'm a Marvel completionist.
It doesn't even matter now.
Yet. We'll see Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel. Don't know. Can't say anything yet.
We don't know. Yeah, I like this addition. I'm interested to see how it plays out with the rest of the team. I'm interested to see the rest of the team interacts with him. There's a lot of cool interactions with like he could relate to Corey because they both have alien connections. You know what I mean? He could interact with Hank because they both have anger issues. You know what I mean?
And Dick because it's like, hey, so you hate Batman? Kind of, not really sure anymore. Well, I hate one of the half of my dad's memories.
Yeah. I also like that interaction. Like, oh, people love Superman. She's like, yeah, Superman's great. And who's the other dad? Lex Luthor. Oh, people don't like him as much.
Or like he's very smart.
Yeah, he's very. But again, like when you talk about the strength of Superman and the intelligence of Lex Luthor in somebody that just has no idea of interactions, like, oh, that's terrifying. Mm-hmm. And it's at first when they were like, because him taking out the soldiers actually looked less violent than what he did to the scientists. So when she was like, you killed him, I was like,
did he?
Like, what? But it does emphasize that, like, yeah, you need to keep tabs on this guy. Somebody like Dick Grayson will need to keep an eye on this guy because if he's a kid, and so if he loses it could be Bad News Bears.
And with the younger cast with Raven, Beast Boy, Jason Todd, it's
Yeah.
kind of cool to add him to the mix. He does look significantly older than
Yes.
all of those
Yeah.
people, and older than some of the adult actors
Yeah,
too.
and he could be. That's speaking of Raven. Like Raven's having issues controlling her stuff and doesn't like her dad too much. So there's stuff there as well. You know.
Yeah, it seems like the show's actually really acting like a show now.
Yeah. Well, again, thinking about all the times like Dick Grayson would just go off and be on his own, but like think about. Like we get the action sequence in the barn, we get the lab, we go to the other facility in San Francisco.
Also,
it's like, oh, this is a TV show now.
You get some fun like teases where like, oh, he's gonna go to the Kent house. It's like, no, he goes to the Luthor house because everything's all blended together.
Yep.
And somehow he goes from Kansas he goes to Metropolis.
Yeah.
Then he gets in a car and they drive somewhere to a facility, and then he
Which
walks.
is in San Francisco. The facility's in San Francisco.
But that is a very long car ride they were in.
Yes.
Not like the long. I'm not saying like that it took years or months
Yeah.
to get there. It's just a long time.
They got a lot of time to get to know each other.
Which also kind of helps with the timetable of like how long are we seeing the sequence? Like, oh, it's like a couple weeks. It's
Yeah.
like this entire endeavor and what he's experiencing from the world. And yeah, no, I like the way that they handle Lex Luthor. I like the way they talk about Superman. I like that it's still very. This is kind of helpful for a show where they can't really use those characters, or you're waiting to use those characters because because Connor doesn't know anything about them, so we get to see from his point of view of like it's kind of nebulous. We know who's good and who's bad, but also thank God he didn't out Clark Kent because he has Superman's DNAs, but he had all of Clark's memories. So I'm glad he didn't walk to the Kent house, so all the soldiers didn't go there.
Yeah.
Then they're like, wait, why did you go to this house? And it's like,
Wait, hold on.
yeah, that's
It's all coming together.
It's a little confusing.
I didn't even think about that. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I also like the characterization of Lionel, where it's the Lionel Connor interacts with is actually seems to be a pretty chill dude, but we get enough to be like, no, there's a reason Lex is Lex.
He's okay until Connor questions him at all, and then he freaks out.
Well, and I think is a great characterization for why he says he's a scientist, which I thought that was smart, but Lex was so much smarter, and it's like. And like you said, he gets defensive when he's questioned. So it's like, yeah, he must have hated the fact that his son was significantly smarter than he was.
Sometimes you get some dumb episodes where like you get like trying to explain why Garth's not on the show anymore. I'm sorry, it was a weaker episode.
Yeah.
I felt like the explanations around a lot of the stuff happening in that episode were kind of dumb. Characters not acting to their highest intelligence or whatever.
Yeah.
In this though, I really enjoyed that, and that's a good point. I didn't think about that where it's like, oh, he's like. Lionel's insecure.
Yeah.
Like, of course he is. Lex got all those insecurities.
Yes.
And kind of Connor does too.
Yeah.
Now, because he's not like a son. He's like a clone. He has... Everyone knows clone magic. They have all the memories.
It's all in there. And it is interesting because it's like, this is a very distinct, I think this is the most distinct separation from like the CW shows, which by the way, we review all of the Batwoman, Supergirl, all of them on patreon.com/onlystupid-answers. And I highly recommend you check that out.
Click up there.
But this is because this Lionel is very different than what we see in Lena's past and Lex's past on that show. But it's like, I kind of want to see the Superboy interact with Supergirl. Like there's stuff there, you know what I mean? Like there's enough, like, and that show will probably emphasize the Jonathan Kent Superboy, which is still great. Very excited about that. But it's like, this is a cool take on Connor Kent.
Mm-hmm. Also, I want to see Connor and Jonathan interact because they still haven't.
In the comics.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Like, so as far as I know, I haven't seen them interact, and I want to see them because I think currently in comics they're shuffling off Jonathan to the future.
Yeah.
And Connor's now back because he's in Young Justice in the multiverse somewhere.
Yeah.
It's confusing right now. It's hard to keep track. Maybe he has a kid.
I don't think we'll see this Connor go punk Connor.
He's gonna wear a leather jacket one time.
Probably.
I think you're going to get an iteration of that. Like, we're going to get set photos of showing a Nightwing costume. I think you're going to get Superboy in some sort of Superboy costume. Maybe the belts. The very loose belts all around his waist. It could be. He's a curvy boy. Yeah. But overall, I'd give this episode like a 9 out of 10. It felt very reminiscent of like the Hawk and Dove episode from last season, which was super solid. This season has been, like I've said, I think overall is way more solid. It's got its ups and downs, but overall it's just like just tighter. Yeah. It's way better.
100%.
And I'm excited to see this character interact with all of our other characters. Not that I don't love that Hawk and Dove are prominent characters on this show, but when I think Titans, Superboy's on that team.
Yeah.
Or somebody is.
Yeah. Agreed. And it'll be interesting. I hope they take the time, and I feel like this version of the show might be smart enough to do that, to see him really interact with Donna and Dick and Jason, and like, because they're they're connected to the Trinity, and what does that mean? You know what I mean? So a lot of cool stuff there. I agree with you. I would say like an 8.5 or a 9. Definitely one of my favorite episodes this season, and very excited to see. And we're only like halfway through. I like this. And it's something I liked as wonky as last season could have been. One of the things I really liked is it didn't like wait around. Like things were always moving forward and happening. Like, yeah, Dick might bail on everybody, but wherever he went, things were happening. You know what I mean? It wasn't just the show stalling.
Yeah, and we have a lot of like threads that we could investigate.
Cadmus now, like, because Cadmus isn't. I mean, I guess we're supposed to assume that they think he's classic bad guy. Shoot, leave. I'm sure everything's fine. You know what I mean? But like once they find out, it's like that'll cycle back in.
Mm-hmm. I think they're gonna have to go after. I mean, they might. I would assume they'd go get the body back because yes, it is a problem that he's walking around. He's like the most dangerous baby in the world.
Yeah.
Which is a funny joke, but also it's like what if Superman found that? What if like you should go get the dead body that you think you just made?
Yeah.
So go do that. Like, but also the show can be dumb sometimes. So, but also I want to see Deathstroke go up against Connor. Like that would be really cool.
That'd be really cool. He probably has something in his back pocket for that.
Shout out to Christopher Priest for making a case for Deathstroke taking on Superman and not winning, but surviving long enough to get out of it and maybe knock him out.
Yeah.
He doesn't win.
Yeah.
He just doesn't die.
Yep.
So there's got to be some comic book gobbledygook to explain that away. But let us know what you thought of this in the comments down below. What are your theories for how Connor's going to be meshing with the team? We're going to get Krypto back. Are we going to get Streaky the Super Cat? Who knows? Comment the Super Horse.
Gotten Streaky on Supergirl. Krypto's so
We did.
great.
Well, we didn't get the good one. She had a kitten as a kid named Streaky.
We finally got a live action Krypto, and it made me happy.
It was cool. Remember when Smallville almost had one?
Almost.
Yeah, not the same coloring or any of the details, but it was a dog.
It was a different time. We did the best we could.
He sure did. And now this show's pretty cool. So if you don't have DC Universe, go check them out. Also, go watch Doom Patrol because that's the best thing they've ever made.
Yep. Still super good.
Also, Crisis on Infinite Earths. If you want to know more, if you want to dive into all of those episodes, go check out patreon.com/onlystupidanswers. Every Thursday, 3 p.m. PST. We're going live with Roxy Stryer and talking about all those shows. So if we want to hear your thoughts, make sure you join us. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye. Also, remember they did Superboy on Smallville. He wasn't Superman yet, but they did do Connor Kent, Superboy.
Yeah, at the end.
Yeah.
Played by the actor who played young Lex Luthor for like 10 years. Which was a cool thing for that actor to get.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Season 10. They got him. It was a stretch.